bro.
Bro.
Hey, have you ever been in a position like we're in leadership, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you see other leaders who taking shortcuts and are immoral, and it just feel like you are in an unwinning leadership war.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it. I think we should talk about it in the context of this amazing movie.
Oh, wait, but before we go there,
Okay.
make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Let's get this information out of here. Okay.
All right, let's jump into it. So we watched a really, really great movie.
Okay.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yep.
And it's called The Patriot with Mel Gibson.
It put me on an emotional roller coaster.
That's as all great movies do, right? It's great acting. We're gonna jump into this, and we're gonna give you the 5 lessons of winning the war on leadership.
Let's go.
And or winning the war of leadership, and these lessons come from The Patriot, and it's just. And like kind of like Tone was kind of alluded to at the beginning, sometimes, man, whenever you're on the journey of doing the right things for the right reasons, and and you're consistently, wanting to just, play it by the book in a sense, right?
Right.
You look over to your left, and somebody's like right there with you. But they're not doing all the sacrifices, all the things that you're doing.
Bruh.
And it's like, what's the point? Your team looking at you crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, well, why we got to do all that? They don't do all that, and they got the same results. So it's like, why do we do all that?
Right.
Right. So
yeah.
So we're gonna really explore 3, I guess, leaders in this episode as well.
Yeah. Let's do it.
And let's jump into it. So the first leader that we're gonna talk about, and we're gonna come back to him as well, is Benjamin. Was it Wallace? Benjamin Martin. Benjamin Martin.
Who is Benjamin Wallace?
I don't know. It sounds so familiar, right?
Yeah.
But Benjamin Martin,
the basketball player.
Oh, Ben Wallace. Yeah. But Benjamin Martin. So the Patriot takes place in like the 1700s, right around 1776, actually. Right. The Revolutionary War, I believe.
Right.
And Benjamin Martin is this guy that has his family. He has about 4 or 5 kids. His wife has passed away. He's just doing the best to raise his kids on the land that he has.
Right.
And then there's the second leader that comes into play, which is Colonel. What's the dude's name? Oh, where did it go? Oh, Colonel William Tavington.
Right.
And this guy is ruthless.
Man, that dude's nuts.
Freaking crazy, right?
Yeah.
And he comes and
Stupid little boy.
Yeah. Like he comes there, and there was a battle that took place the night before, and Benjamin Martin is like healing everybody, like both, people in the Union and the Confederate Army. Right. He's doing both, right?
Right.
And this colonel comes down. He's like, kill everybody. Like take our wounded. We're gonna take our wounded back with us. Kill everybody else.
Wow.
Just ruthless, right? And Benjamin Martin's son is fighting in the war as well, and he takes him as a prisoner. We're gonna hang him.
Right. So
he has another son that's like, Dad, you're not gonna do anything about it. Like, and this is, I don't know, maybe this is gonna be the first lesson. Don't stay out of grown folk business. All right. So, if he would have stayed out of grown folk business, he would be alive today.
Right.
Right. Hey, that's a he'll still be alive. Y'all ain't gas him up. What song was that? I feel like was that Dirt? I don't know. I can't remember what it.
Oh, dang! I know what
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he'll still be alive today if you ain't gas him up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the younger son goes out. And he is like, I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't know. I guess he was trying to free his brother. I don't know what he thought he was going to do.
Right.
Anyway, Colonel William Tavington took that thing out, pow, shot him in the back.
Yep.
Killed him.
Sad.
So now you have Benjamin Martin, who goes on this journey of avenging his son.
Right.
And there's some lessons that we want to talk about. And he's like killing everybody.
Right.
Right. He's on this tear. He's killing everybody. That, you know, that, and because what they didn't know at the time was Benjamin Martin was this war hero.
Yeah.
In the past, and he did some stuff.
Right.
In the past, and he's pretty much retired at this point. Right. So they brought they you know they say let sleeping dogs lie.
I was about to say, man, why y'all wake the bear up, man?
Wake the bear up, woke him up, right? And he came back with a vengeance. And because Benjamin Martin is having all the success, there's a third leader that we're going to talk about that comes into this, and that is General Cornwallis. And he's frustrated at this point because Benjamin Martin has really made a fool of him. He done took the man. He done tricked the man and told him that he had some prisoners that he didn't have.
Right.
He took his dogs from him. Right. On top of killing a lot of his men as well. And this is really a crossroads, and this is where it kind of goes into what we were talking about earlier, where you gotta don't do the immoral things because at this point, General Cornwallis made a decision to do something immoral. And what we learned about William Tavington is undisciplined leaders don't like rules and processes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
They don't like rules and processes because I don't know if it's just too much thinking or it's no shortcut to it.
Am I an immoral leader? Anyway, go ahead. I just had to ask myself, man. I struggle with rules sometimes. Anyway, go ahead.
So the discipline helps you. And when I think back on my career as well, man, like the people that were in that same, have the similar results, they didn't make it as far as I made it.
Right.
Because my principles kept me.
Your discipline
and the discipline, it kept me to be able to continue to move my career forward.
Right.
And you look back, 3-4 years later, and it's like it's how was it ever close?
There's something about discipline and not taking a shortcut, though. You tend to retain more and learn more. You know what I mean? Versus trying to take the easy route. Because the more you, you know what I mean? The more you learn something and mess up, have that discipline to stay on track, you tend to accumulate more wisdom, more experience.
Dang, that's real though.
Yeah,
that's real.
And
you got this. You build the muscles. For it,
and it humbles you too. Yeah. So anyway,
that's good. Dang, that was good.
I throw that in there.
So at this point, General Cornwallis, he does this, and this is why I want. This is I don't know if this is the first lesson. Don't give your radicals the green light to do wrong.
No, sir.
Because you want vengeance. You always lose the war. Do not give your radicals the green light to do vengeance because you will lose the war.
Right.
And it's almost like in leadership, right? Like you see certain people taking shortcuts, and so you might be like, you know what? Hey, don't worry about doing that. That'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Even though you know it's the right thing to do. No, don't worry about it. Because what happens though is you always come back and you lose.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's rule number 1.
Okay.
So anything on rule number 1?
No, same thing I said before.
Or lesson number 1?
No, the same thing I said before. Like, I think so. Even if you build a character of discipline, when you get to that level, that's not even a question. You know what I mean? You won't have a question of, should I let the dog go? Should I take the dog off the chain, let him loose? Nah, because he's going to do damage that's going to cost me. So like now that dog is good for something else.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe for intruders or anything like that. But I think, once you have a disciplined character, then those choices aren't even an option.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lesson number 2. And Benjamin Martin also came to a crossroads because he was on a vengeance, and he was avenging his children's death.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a point in the movie where when he kind of first took over the army, he was killing everybody. They were wounded. They gave up. It didn't matter. He killed everybody.
Right.
And somebody questioned him. And as a leader, you're going to get questioned.
Oh, no, for sure.
And it's okay to get questioned, right?
You're going to get challenged.
You're going to get challenged. So when you get questioned, be better. This is lesson number 2. Be better than your grief.
Oh, you got to be healed.
Yeah.
You not even healed, but even in the process of healing or aware. Because he could have easily got offended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he could have killed that person. How many in the history, right?
Yeah.
Just think about the different movies you've seen. How many people have like killed the person or like shunned the person that was trying to correct them?
Right.
I mean, get out of here. Get out of, kill him for even thinking that you could talk to me. So even question my leadership or question, like.
I for real see that. I see that in leadership today too. Like, not to put them on, I'm not going to say who it is.
Say his name now.
Nah.
Say his name. Say his
Very
name.
close to me, my significant other, you know how she is. And she gonna question, but I also see the consequence of that, when somebody's insecure in their leadership. They don't like to be challenged or questioned.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay to be open to those questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I say all the time. I think you just need to be open all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, that's how you grow.
Yeah.
If you only have one lens with how you're fighting a war,
right,
you're screwed.
That's true.
So in this war of leadership, you have to have a different lens. So you have to be to understand that your team is going to be able to give you a different perspective, maybe that they're not thinking about, to make sure that you're successful.
Right. That's true. I like it.
Lesson number 3.
What we got?
There's a part in the movie where Benjamin Martin's oldest son goes to this church.
Oh, this is my favorite. This is the only quote I wrote down in my phone for this movie. I don't know why, but go ahead.
And he goes to this church, and he's like trying to recruit people to come into the army. Or to fight the fight, right? And there's a lot of men in there that's like, nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't going for that.
Right.
And then there's a young lady. They actually, they end up getting married later on. Unfortunately, that put you on a roller coaster too.
Man.
But they get married later on, but she's saying that like, you guys are hypocrites. You sit here all the time talking about this and that and what you would do and how you would do, and now you have the opportunity. Somebody has come to your door,
right, to
say, hey, let's do something about it. And you had it scared.
Man.
Like, you ain't standing on business, as they say. Right?
I got a scripture for that, but go ahead.
So, and then what you notice, and just pay attention, and go back and watch the movie, but just pay attention to people. A lot of the men that are like being contradictory are the men that have like little powdered wigs on.
Yeah, they got some rank.
They got some rank, or they got some status, they got some money.
Yeah.
So the people that have something to lose aren't always willing to step out of their zone to be able to fight for what they should be fighting for.
Yeah, man.
So don't be afraid. Don't be surprised when people that that are in your space, or that you feel like should be fighting along with you. They're not, because they're not willing to lose what they have to help the overall cause of the entire vision.
Right.
Even though they're gonna lose it anyway. If you lose the war, you lose all of whatever. They don't have that vision.
That's true.
And don't get frustrated with those people.
Right.
That's
true.
So lesson number 2.
Wait, hold on. Because
or number 3.
My quote, man. Like,
yeah, go ahead. Get your quote.
Well, it was one who stepped out there though.
Yeah, it was one who stepped out of there.
And was he the pastor?
He was the pastor.
Hold on, what'd he say?
And he had the wig on.
He was one of the pastors, and he said, I just had it up, man. Golly. He said, a time a shepherd must attend to his flock, and it's a time to fight off the wolves. I was like, I got chills when he said that.
Lesson number 3.
Yeah.
Fight off the wolves.
Fight off the wolves.
You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Sure. And you got to step into them trenches.
Yeah, for sure.
Dang.
Man, you know what? I think that's even with ministry, man. Like, it's not all about being in the pulpit. You feel me?
Pain.
Nah, it's about getting out there. I'm talking to me too. You know, like just being out there. James 2:14 reads, "What good is it, my brother, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, 'Go in peace, be warm and filled,' without giving them the things needed for the body, what is good? What good is that? So also faith by itself, if it does not have work, is dead." So you out here preaching, you telling folks this to do right, this and that and other, but what works are you doing to help them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway.
Dang.
Yeah.
Gotta get in these trenches, man. You gotta get out and fight with the people, bro.
Right.
And speaking of fighting, that leads us to lesson number 4.
What's that?
Lesson number 4 is fight differently when you're the underdog.
Oh, I like this one. Yeah.
And what was happening, and this is also, kind of leads to the lyric of the day as well. But what was happening was the army before Benjamin Martin got there,
right,
was like going toe to toe with
it was so stupid.
One of the biggest armies in the world at the time.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
Yeah.
Like, why you cannot outgun them man to man? Like, it's almost like we play sports or play football, right? Like, you got man-to-man coverage, right? But if you got somebody that runs a 4-3 and your cornerbacks only run a 4-6, 4-7, they're going to get burnt every time. So you got to play zone.
Right.
And that's essentially what Benjamin Martin did.
Right.
He played zone, and they were fighting on trees. They were coming out of bushes.
Called them ghosts.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people would say that's guerrilla tactics, right? And this is what I say. I say lyric of the week.
Lyric.
And this lyric of the week comes from Doechii. I'm not sure how much you know about Doechii. They saying she's an industry plant, but I like her. I like her a lot. I think she can rap.
Right.
And had she probably dropped this album a little bit earlier in the year, maybe I would have heard it a little bit sooner and probably she might have made the top 10. But she has a song called Prophet on the on her latest album, Alligator Bites Don't Heal.
Right.
And she says this. She said, "Not modest, not polished, forget the politics. I pledge allegiance to the prophets." And when I think about Benjamin Martin, and prophets don't always necessarily mean money. Right. Prophets is making in this situation, it was making your country a better country. It was fighting in the war to be able to make sure that your kids are not overtaken by this dog. Of William Taventon, Colonel William Taventon, or General Cornwallis, and these principles that the Confederate Army had. So not modest, not polished, forget the politics. I pledge allegiance to the prophets. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And that's what lesson 4 is about.
Right.
Doing whatever it takes within your morals. Right. And win at some cost, not all costs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
To make sure that you get accomplished what you need to get accomplished.
What you say? Keep the main thing the main thing?
Keep the main thing, bro.
Hey, stay focused, man.
Stay freaking focused, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, he has some unconventional tactics to it.
And that's the thing about discipline and humility. It allows you to see things that nobody else see. And he said pride was his weakness. He said pride was. He didn't he say that?
Who?
Or am I thinking about another movie?
I don't know.
He said he got pride. And, pride is his weakness or something.
It was Benjamin Martin?
Yeah.
He might have did say that.
He said that about the other guy.
Oh, yes, he did say about the other guy, yes.
Yeah, he said pride is his weakness.
Absolutely.
And because pride blinds you. It costs you vision, but again, when you are not taking the shortcuts, when you're fully moral, you begin to see things that other people can't see.
Yeah.
And it calls you to have more experience, more creativity, more humanity, man, because you understand people and how they work, and you can navigate those situations, and end up winning.
Yeah.
So like I saw that. He both of them was experienced. Now, like old boy wasn't nothing to play with, because he was a dog too, but he was just immoral.
Immoral,
like, he was a dog, but you can tell by Benjamin, his wisdom, that he had the experience of war, and not just see, the other guy, he always had that tool of having a big army, and it seemed like he only had one way, one trick.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But Benjamin, he learned to do with what he had. So, that's where the experience of or discipline and all that comes from, man. You just knowing how to maneuver. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Nope.
I ain't gonna say it.
What you gonna say?
I ain't gonna say it.
Why
I'm just gonna move on to number 5.
Why you gonna say it?
I just saying.
I'm curious now.
No. So this leads us to our last lesson.
What's our last lesson?
Right. And when it comes to our last lesson, man, just understand that when we look at these 5 lessons of winning the war of leadership, you're gonna win. You're gonna win. So what happens when you win? And that's lesson 5 is understanding what to do when you win. And there's a point in the movie, and it's like towards the end of the movie, right? And there's this slave, and he's getting ridiculed by one of the guys there. And he's like, and there's a sign. Slave can't read, of course, right?
Right.
And there's this like bulletin. It's like, hey, if you fight in the army for a year or 6 months or whatever it is, you'll be granted your freedom.
Right.
And so he's fighting. So he fights in the army. The slave does. And then the guy comes over here and talking about what you gonna do with freedom? Like
right.
Like, and sometimes, man, like, before you can win, you're gonna have those adversaries. I know we talked a lot about hate on the wrap up or the top 10 songs, but it's just the reality, right? Like there's so much hate and people, and that kind of goes into it where it's like maybe our hate wasn't first formed from us, I guess maybe, but there's so much hate that goes on. Is like, and people that try to put doubt on you,
right?
And it's like, dang, what am I gonna do with my freedom?
Right.
What will you do when you win?
Right.
And so, and what he does is, it's like, at the end of the movie, same guy, and they've been fighting along each other, so they get closer, right, throughout this experience. And he asked him, he's like, man, he was like, you were free 6 months ago. Like, why are you still here?
Right.
Like, you don't have to be here.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I know, but this is what I want to do with my freedom.
Wow. Wow.
So lesson 5 is really continue fighting.
Right.
Like, continue fighting, not fighting just for yourself, but find something bigger than yourself. And that's what this gentleman did. He found something bigger than himself. He's like, man, I believe in what they're doing.
Right.
And I can make an impact in changing the world. And now there's a movie about this guy, or there's a movie, and this guy is, I ain't gonna say a main character, but we're talking about him today.
Right.
Because of that decision he made.
Right.
So,
So I pulled a lesson even from that, because I think what you're saying is a gift that keeps giving. Because Benjamin was a type of leader that you can work for willingly.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, when you're a leader,
pinnacle leader.
Yeah.
He's a pinnacle. When you look at the 5 levels of leadership,
right,
from John C. Maxwell, the pinnacle leader is the one that's at the top, and he was a pinnacle leader.
Right. So when you become that leader, you don't have to threaten people. You don't have to use immorality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
To make people work for you. When you're that type of leader that Benjamin is, when you can make people see the bigger picture, when you can spark, dang, what's the word I'm looking for? When you can spark, motivation, when you can persuade, like, and just not by what you say, but your character, then you will have people who will work for you without a cost.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just because
Right.
they enjoy working with you. and they enjoy working for the vision that you two are working for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, that's what I got to say with that one.
Yeah, bro, leadership is just so amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you look at the context of like accomplishing a task,
Right.
and the fact that again you pull that out, like, it's something special about that. Like, there's something about leadership that you just don't get in other arenas.
Yeah, like, so even he said that Benjamin was like, I think when they was about to break, and he was like, you can choose to leave, and if you choose to come back, you can come back. But
Yeah.
if not, I understand.
Yeah.
Most leaders was like, bring your, you know what I mean? If you come back, you lame, you a chump, you scared.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, use those type of tactics.
Yeah.
But he was like, hey, I understand. You know, when you are that type of leader that understand your people won't have a problem working.
There's a new age right now. There's a new, and that's what I'm realizing. I'm so old school, bro, that sometimes I still will like lead that way, like of like hand to fist type leadership.
Right.
But an open hand leader and like influence, leading through your influence,
Right.
is such a better way to lead. It's such a better way to lead, and we see that really throughout this movie. Like now he told his sons, "Hey, get your guns and come on, because y'all about to." But that was early in this,
Right.
But I think that's part of it though, right? Like like early on in your leadership journey, like you're gonna have to, like, I ain't gonna say force people to do what you need them to do, but eventually you have the cachet as a leader. You should have the cachet as a leader,
Right.
to where you don't have to manage people as hard,
Right.
or lead people as hard, and you can lead through influence.
But see, when he did that to his sons, they was already ready though.
Yeah, they were ready.
Think about it.
Yeah.
What do he say? Aim short, miss short, or something like that?
Aim small, miss small.
Aim small, miss small. Them boys was trained.
Yep.
So we missed that part.
right.
When he was impartation, when he was honing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We missed that part. Like he might have said, hey, there may be a day when we have to, he gave, hey, today is the day. It's time to grow up. Let's go. So I think, like, when we become those type of leaders to impart in our people, to see their best interests at heart, allow them to see the bigger picture, I think they will be willing to stick with us through thick and thin. Now, we may have our moments of falling out or whatever, but at the end of the day, they know that you're in it for them and you're in it for the bigger picture.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's recap, man.
Let's recap.
There's 5 lessons on winning the war of leadership. Lesson number 1, don't give your radicals the green light to do wrong. Lesson number 2, be better than your grief. Don't kill the wounded.
Don't kill the wounded.
Lesson number 3, fight out the wolves. Sometimes you got to get out your comfort zone and get in these trenches.
Oh, for sure. Don't talk about it.
Lesson number, don't talk about it, be about it, right? Lesson number 4, fight differently when you're the underdog.
Oh, yeah.
Don't go toe-to-toe with people. Forget that. Get creative. Find a different way to be able to accomplish that goal. And lesson number 5, continue the fight, because you will win. And when you win, you have to find a different way to fight and lead through leadership.
That's true.
Lead through influence to make sure that you're able to continue to fight for more than just yourself.
And people would fight for you.
Yeah. They built on my house at the end.
Oh, they sure did. That what that says about a leader.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Come on, man.
That's it, man. That's it. Go watch the Patriot.
They built.
They need to pay me for that, by the way.
They built that man a house. Y'all come see us. Come see us. Patriots, producers, executive producers, directors. Holla at your boy.
I would love to. You know who I would love to interview? Mel Gibson.
Yeah, because he directed The Passion of Christ and all that. Yeah.
Apocalypto was really good. You ever seen Apocalypto? Man,
that's another one we got to watch.
Yeah, it's the best movie. It's the best non English-speaking movie I've ever seen where I had to read the subtitles.
What?
Best one ever.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check it. I'm gonna have to have some time for that one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Man, y'all be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Let's get this podcast out of here, man. And make sure y'all get that What Am I Doing Right journal. Link is in the descriptions. And I think we out. We out. Right? Yeah, we out.
Peace.
All right, peace.
Stick and move, we can get it done. Call it unity, it ain't no way around it. Cultivating, we get motivation from the big guy. We don't play about him. Going hard for the game, showing love.